Welcome to the OHBPOVPodcast. Rusty McGivney, Sean Dennis. It's official. I am not diagnosed, but something isn't exactly right. We just don't know what yet.
Yeah.
So
that diagnosis happened about 45 years ago.
no, it's an undiagnosis.
Oh, okay.
Undiagnosed.
But something ain't right.
It's something.
happening.
They just don't know way to be able to figure it out yet. So, okay, you know how it works. Rusty's going to surprise us with a topic today. I don't know anything about it. You're going to get my instant reaction, and we'll see how it goes. We do have a guest for next week's podcast. Hopefully it comes through again. We'll have somebody else to talk with. I feel like the last podcast, a little biased. It was my daughter, but I think it was pretty good. I actually went back and watched it myself, and it was intriguing. It was good to have that other info, and I think the next time we're going to have another a young man around 28 to get his perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think that'll be good for everybody.
It's nice to argue with somebody else besides you.
Yeah, you might win one of those.
Okay, today's topic
Is we need a drum roll in here.
Trump's 100 days.
First 100 days.
First 100 days.
Okay.
So, overall, give me your opinion on what you think.
From what we are told,
Mm-hmm.
from the information that we receive, to me, I mean, I don't think I could have done better myself. I just think it's outstanding.
Well, okay, well, that's good.
I mean, considering every other president, how many presidents have we lived through? So let's see. I mean, we go back to Kennedy.
Born or?
No, when we were alive during it, would probably.
For us, we'd have to start with Johnson. Because Kennedy
same period. Yeah.
Killed before.
But what I'm saying is that I don't ever remember any other president's first 100 days affecting our country as much as this.
We were alive and we were voting at the time of, I think maybe you weren't, for Reagan's first term.
Oh, yeah.
You were 18 by then?
Yeah.
So I just wish I knew what his first time. I knew he had the same fight as he did with.
Well, maybe it is that we weren't as into it back then. Maybe
right.
That's true. But I think guessing, but it just didn't feel like that much shit was going on. I mean, right now it's hard to get through a day without a political.
Good Lord! Do you not remember his first day in office was fixing the debacle that Jimmy Carter had with trying to get the hostages back from Iran.
Sure. Agreed.
So,
but Trump's got like 50 of them.
Well,
I mean, maybe more. I mean, how many hostages he got back already?
Well,
and it just got the last living American out of the last Israel, Russia, Israel. My brain is not working right now.
The Hamas thing?
The Hamas-Israel battle.
I knew there were 5.
He just got the last American
Okay, that's good.
back like 3 days ago. What are you doing? Where you been? What are you watching?
I knew there was 5 because that was one of the things that I looked
There's
up.
only been one for a long time. One left American. And I think there's still, they say, what we hear, what they tell us, is there's 40 or 50 more hostages, but no more Americans.
Right.
And only maybe half of them alive is what they're saying.
And I think that's probably why, just like the last big, media thing over the mother and 2 children that were given back, but the either the one or 2 of the children were dead. Baby was dead and all. So, and I think the mother wasn't even the right mother. I think most of those people are dead, and that's probably why they don't want to turn over the bodies, because either they don't have the bodies or they've been decimated so bad.
That's probably a very good thought. In addition to that, also might be that if they give them all back, they got no leverage anymore. They're just dead.
Right.
I mean, the only thing keeping them alive is idea of them still having something to give up.
Well, it is, very discerning to think that we are. I mean, October is going to be 2
days.
years.
Yeah.
So
that guy'd been held 500 days.
Yeah, crazy. So,
what's your perception? What do you feel?
Well,
You disagree with my positive report?
no, I think there's some things that he started that have a lot of people kind of on the edge of their seat. The tariffs have had impact on all
Are you
different kinds.
panicking?
No, I know.
So you're
that's
saying a lot of people?
a lot of people.
Oh, you mean
a lot of people that are on our public square and so many other squares across the country, complaining about with their signs.
I struggle with those groups of people because, again, I think I've said it before, you got to eliminate the far left and you got to eliminate the far right, and I think those people are at that extreme because I don't think they've been on our square repeatedly over the same thing. They pick another battle every time they're out there, and it's another thing that's going to end our country, and it's going to bring down the Constitution, and it's going to, it's just Democrats, far left people being opposition. And not to mention that if I wanted 10 things to go through, the last thing I would do as president is propose 10 things. If I wanted 10 things to go through, I'd propose about 30.
Yeah, absolutely.
And give them something to bitch about, baby.
Yeah.
Let them do their thing. Just like this 1798. That argument that they're having about that right now. Hopefully it'll be settled today. But the point is that they got that group out of there. They got the video from it, and it stopped. That one group of people that he got the hell out of here, and the video that was produced from that, whether they stopped him or they didn't, it accomplished it. Kept on giving. Every time they played that video, more people were watching and less people were coming, and there are people volunteering to leave now.
I know he's only offering $1,000. I say only, but
it's a great bribe. It's way cheaper than them being here on the government tit.
Oh, absolutely. But I think you could probably make it $5,000 and incentivize a lot more people to go home.
I think the $1,000 is just like butter on your bread. I think they're already pretty incentivized to get the hell out of here based on.
Well, and the key part of that is just his statement of, if you voluntarily go,
you might come back.
You might be able to come back. But if we have to send you ain't never coming back in.
It's all genius. So in the first 100 days, I give him an A+. Whether or not they all happened or whether they're all supported or all come to fruition in their goals, the efforts to me are accomplishing way more, or they're accomplishing to me as much as what the actual goal accomplished is. Just the fact that we're living through this and seeing the turn and seeing the very youngest generation now starting to lean toward common sense again. I think just the overall mood and motion and direction that we're headed, you can't win them all.
Well, his first term, first 100 days, was stalled by so many people. He felt, I believe, he could come in because of what good he was hoping to do to things, but then he encountered the swamp. The swamp said,
He, even as smart as he is, he did not realize how many of his own people were even going, yes sir, yeah, you're right, betcha. And then when he, behind closed doors, they're fucking stabbing him in the back, shutting things down. This time, he surrounded himself with whoever he wanted. He didn't listen to anybody else.
And brought some of the brightest minds in to fix things.
Yeah.
So let's see here. On day one, he signed 26 executive orders. Orders prohibit the weaponization of federal agencies against political opponents, which, break that down. What do you feel that means?
What against political opponents?
Orders prohibited weaponization of federal agencies against political opponents.
Yeah, that's
So-
like the DOD prosecuting Trump for
Stupid stuff.
Stupid shit, yeah.
They didn't have. They
So instead of getting in there and returning the favor and indicting a whole bunch of Biden's people and family and everybody else, despite the
or Hillary. I mean, my gosh.
Yeah, well, he could have done that last time.
Exactly.
Instead of doing that, he's just going, okay, guys, we all got to stop this shit. Okay? On the other hand, that's one criticism I would have.
Right.
Is because I would like to see some indictments. There are some...
Oh, it's obvious.
Yeah, so when there aren't any indictments, it makes me still question, the legitimacy of our political structure. It really does.
And
Because
that weaponization.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But I agree with the weaponization thing is using it without justification, in my opinion.
Well,
weaponizing for other reasons, like
right.
political. I'm not talking about political. I'm talking about people who did things that, regardless of their political beliefs or their political background, should be indicted.
Okay.
I mean, I just give us some. There's so many obvious ones, you know what I mean? So many.
Well,
give us some.
Give me one. What do you think? What's run through your mind?
Well, I mean, I there's too many to even go into. Hunter Biden, for one.
Well, true. I mean,
Okay,
that's,
and despite pardons, you can bring a state action against
was-
Hunter Biden, and that pardon means nothing.
Now, sometimes you can just, put a pot of chili next to a
How about Letitia?
Holy cow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, there needs to
Her statement
there
that-
needs to be some indictments. She said when she ran, I'm taking
Yes.
down Trump.
Well, and her
That's a
statement that
weaponization.
no one's above the law, even though she
She did the same thing, allegedly.
Yeah, she absolutely.
Even after that was during the period.
Exactly.
So it wasn't like she hadn't thought about
Yeah.
it. That's
then-
probably what gave her the idea.
Claiming her
Dad
father,
is
her
a
father
husband.
as her husband. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. There needs to be some indictments to make me feel better about they're not all just fucking wiping each other's.
Well, but we'll go. I'll finish with this on that subject. But the weaponization, it's kind of broad term. But I'll go to something specific.
How about the judge just let the illegal immigrant out the back door?
Oh yeah, that's. I mean,
If she gets off,
well,
I'm
she
gonna
is-
be-
I think she's been removed as judge.
no,
So-
temporarily. She's not been. At first, they were paying her. They removed her and were paying her. And then, if I understood her right, that was turned into removed without pay, but not termination. So they're waiting to find out.
Well,
Innocent until
it's-
proven guilty, which I'm okay with.
And that's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just every situation needs to have the facts and all pulled together so that
Not every
you're-
situation. We don't need every situation. There are people in situations that don't have U.S. citizens' rights that don't need every situation
Well,
to have
then,
that
then
same.
let me ask you, since we're kind of going over things, that they're saying that these immigrants have rights. They're what's the term?
Constitutional rights,
No,
due process.
Due
rights?
process. But I guess in my feelings, and what as we've previously before things started here, you'd like to educate me on how stupid I am, but
Well, you're the smart one. I'm the dumb one.
But in my mind, you have to be a citizen to take advantage of those rights.
I think what the left is trying to argue is human rights, human dignity rights, and they're trying to both tie that
they're a
together.
Hail Mary on
they're
that.
trying to tie that together with what's due process, which has the legal connotation, which is very clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
so, what they want the other side to do is argue, no, they don't deserve that. You don't believe in human rights.
I know.
Okay, so their idea of due process is, if dogs were closer to humans, they would need it too. You know what I mean? It's just like, just do the right thing. They want us to bring somebody back that they know.
Right.
There's a dozen reasons to read.
Get
back. They want to bring him back over here and treat him like a human, and then send him off.
Well,
no,
it's all to delay the process.
Well, it's all just to resist. It's all just to fight.
Right.
And they can care less about that guy.
And you're 100% right on that. I feel that's it's only to advance their agenda. But what
to resist is to fight the agenda.
Yeah.
They don't have an agenda. See, that's where I think their problem is. I mean, I'm predicting right now, I hope I'm the first one, that they're going to lose in 2028 midterms as well. They need to pick an agenda. They need to pick a position. They need to find something to advocate for. Because all they're doing is advocating against.
I understand that.
100%.
There's, it's like a football. When you have a football team and you are for your football team and you're just against everybody else. Doesn't matter how great a guys that are on that team and how well they play and the integrity that they use.
The people,
you are against them.
So the
no
people
matter
that
what.
we're talking about, who just generalizes congressional politicians.
No, for that, what I'm generalizing is the average American who is trying to listen. A lot of people are only listening with one ear, and even their fingers
they're
stuck
living in an
it,
echo
so
chamber. But that's not. I thought we were talking about the resisting part.
No, where I'm saying it's you are for or against, and the people who.
So right now, what are those people on the square for?
Because
nobody knows. No, you didn't answer the question.
Okay.
What are they for? They're up there picketing against shit.
Yes.
All the time.
Okay.
What are they for? So if I'm against 1798 Act or against deportation, then wouldn't you, instead of just constantly resisting, and your best argument is this racist, wife beater, thug that's MS-13, which means he's had to kill somebody to even be able to be in it. He can't go back to his country because the other gang will kill him because he's in that. That guy is the best thing they got to attach onto. So what I'm saying is they need to advocate. Why isn't somebody saying, look, here's a bill, here's a proposal where we keep these people and here's what we do with them. And we need to change the immigration system and we need to increase the amount of people coming in. Because then even people on the right are going to have a hard time arguing that we need people to do work that we don't have people to do right now. So the left needs to start picking some battles that aren't just all resist.
True.
Come up with your ideas. Come up with your political position. Come up with what you promote. How you can make our lives better.
And that's it. They can't.
No,
because we're doing America first.
As Greg Gutfeld said, here's the bottom line. Trump probably stumbled on it. Maybe he knew. I don't know, but he embraced and is one with now common sense.
Okay.
So it's hard for the other side to find a solution to promote that doesn't align with common sense, and then they're agreeing with him. So God forbid they do that.
The problem with common sense is it still fluctuates. Your common sense can mean to you that 2 + 2 = 6, because that's an agenda that you've listened to, and you.
Good luck
that's
with
why
trying to win that argument.
Well, that's why you have a sign on the square that says, "Don't touch my Medicare and don't touch my Social Security." The only thing he's trying to do is increase both.
Yeah, nobody has. Nobody.
Well,
but you're making my point for me. Okay, if their issue is Medicare, Medicaid is the biggest problem for our government funding frivolous bullshit monies that are getting
Right.
USAID and all that, the NGOs, all that shit where all money's going.
Right.
Okay.
That money, yes.
Well,
It's a money pit.
All of
It's
it.
a funnel.
But instead of just continuing to argue bad, evil, you're taking away my stuff that you can't prove because
Right.
you have to take it away.
They don't want
come
to
up
prove it.
with
All they have to do is
increase
say,
our Medicaid. Change it this way. We advocate for these people to be included. I mean, pick a stance. I mean, is it inhumane to make able-bodied men from the ages of 18 to 35 for them to have to do something in exchange for their free phone and their free housing and their free food and their free...
In truth, I wish it was mandatory like in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Most neutral country on the planet.
Pretty left,
But
yeah.
But Switzerland, when you turn 18, you have to spend 2 years in the army.
Yeah, I think you ought to have to do 1 year of some type of
2 years
structured...
in the army. Because all that, what that's going to do, it's going to get your mindset out of I'm a dependent.
I'm all for it, but then the indentured servitude. And there's a lot,
it's teaching. It's teaching.
There's a lot of arguments when you mandate something.
I understand.
That's indentured servitude, okay?
Well,
but the argument is you mandate everybody, then it's the same for everybody. Or if you want free college, the left thinks everybody
free.
Sure. Okay, well, make a proposal. Say, you know what? If you spend 2 years in the army, when you graduate high school, your next 4 years of college are free.
But it doesn't. See,
well, just come up with something.
Understand.
I'm not advocating that.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm just saying they've got to. It's got to happen. I mean, and it's getting worse. They're eating their own.
Hey, you talk to anybody that has a service business. You can't find painters. You can't find plumbers. You can't find electricians. You can't find people who do yard maintenance.
Yeah, yet you are opposed to anybody here.
No, I'm not opposed to anybody here.
So then let's get on board with a new. I agree. We need to. Congress hasn't done shit for how many presidents?
Oh, I know.
Okay, so they need to do something that is a representation of their constituents, which is going to include the coastal states and the flyover states, everybody involved, and just common sense applies. Promote something where we know. Stop saying stop worrying if you admit it. Oh my God, it's going to be a flood. We need more people here. We need more workers here. So let's stop wasting all of our time and money and effort getting rid of the bad and start spending some effort and money, and the left could embrace this and take it on, and I wouldn't argue with it. We need to reform bringing more people in legitimately, bringing more people in quicker, and if that includes work visas during the process of them becoming, listen, the right needs to understand that needs to happen. Stop fighting everything on both sides. And right now, I think the left's. I would not be shocked if after they lose the 2028 midterms that the Democrat Party breaks up. It's already broken right now. What's this kid, this Hall kid, who's the DNC co-chair?
Oh.
Okay.
Not kept up with him. So
Okay. Well,
educate me.
I don't want to misquote or anything, guys. Look it up yourselves, but just liberally, generally, my understanding of things is who's the Carville?
Yeah.
Okay. Those two are in a pissing contest right now. And he's telling Carville to take his fucking shit and get out. That he hasn't got a person elected since he's been alive. Okay? So he's basically telling Carville to shut the fuck up and go home.
Well,
you don't matter anymore.
Carville is old Democrat.
Carville's telling the Democratic Party, this guy's got to go. He's got to be out. Okay? And he's the new voice. He's the new generation. They don't like what he's saying, but I got news for you. What Carville's saying is old and stale.
Well, but he is old-time Democrat.
Yeah, well, he's saying that they can't even use certain words anymore.
Carville?
Yeah. He gave like a list of a half a dozen words that the Democratic Party needs to stop using.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you remember any of them?
My brain doesn't work like it should anymore, but intersectionality should never be stated by a Democrat ever again, he said.
Okay.
It's funny, I remember that one because I don't even know what the fuck it means, to be honest with you. I mean, I got a general understanding, but I would be willing to bet you if you asked 10 people what that meant,
I know, yeah.
you'd get 10 different answers.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Most of them would say it'd have something to do with driving.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, depending on who you ask, I guess. But
okay, so let's keep it moving down the road here. We only got to the first little bit. Okay, now this is a good one. Reaffirming the existing constitutional right to free speech. Banned federal censorship.
Equity.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Well, he said just equity.
Well, equity is.
Well, he said, what the hell's equity mean?
Exactly. I mean, equality is, when you talk common sense, equality is there for anybody. You can equally be who you want, how you want. You choose whether to stay in school. You choose how much you study. You choose how much you take that knowledge.
I agree with you. What you said. He called it elitist jargon. Far left buzzwords like equity, intersectionality, generational change. Don't use any of those. He said, stop letting them come out of your mouth. Okay, so go back to where you were. You maybe want to know.
So reaffirming the existing constitutional right to free speech.
How do you reaffirm it? Well, I don't know what that means.
Okay, because
it already says in cold black and white.
But what's happened? You look at Facebook, you look at YouTube, you look at a lot of these platforms that they will allow people to come on with agendas that talk negativity, talk death to America, talk all these negative
that's
things.
Okay.
That's fine. That's okay. But you get somebody who wants to hold the feet to the fire of the politicians and things.
What do you mean?
Well, right now it's a situation of how can this is my thought. How in the heck can anybody on the left sit and say that what we're trying to do through a Trump agenda, if you will, is harmful to the United States, harmful to the way of life of the people who live in the United States, is harmful in any way, shape, or form.
You can't fix stupid.
But
Rusty, so I don't know what you're getting at. They gotta have. Everybody has a right.
But there's an agenda.
They think
on
I'm
their-
stupid.
But there's an agenda on
I'm
their
still
side.
gonna say what I want.
You know, well, yes, but look at what happened during the last election. You had the FBI sitting in meetings with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all of those like.
Yeah, you had Biden screaming and yelling at him over the phone, threatening him. What's your point?
But so they shut down free speech. They shut down the ability for people to put up proof of the Hunter Biden laptop.
Yeah, so free speech isn't your issue.
But that's what it is. The government shut it down. They shut and told Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you know, all those entities to not say anything about this. So they limited
Hunter's
free.
laptop.
Well,
Whatever.
among other things.
Yeah, sure, of course.
So they limited free speech. You know, there's.
But you're over my head, okay? Because you're in a social media world that we don't understand.
But we're a part of.
Well, we don't understand it. I mean, it's what that we really don't. We don't understand the complexity of the impact that it's having on Americans.
You want me to say? I'll tell you something. I put a post out on my Facebook. I've got about 3,500 friends on Facebook, and
yet not one of them will watch one of these.
But what it was is I put the link to our podcast.
Good for you.
There were no likes, no views, no shares. So
we don't understand.
The algorithms.
Yeah, I don't know what the algorithms say. And I think a lot, I don't know, but I think a lot of what's happening is that youth are trying to make a living on social media. They don't want to work, things like that. So I think that they want to be the most controversial. They want to say the most craziest, most controversial things in order to get attention.
Well,
I don't even know if they believe half of it. They're just wanting to say, you know, outrageous things that are borderline just to get attention.
I understand.
Okay, so I think they have a right to do that. I don't.
Well, I'm not saying they don't.
So what are you wanting to reaffirm? Who's wanting to limit? Who's wanting to do what? Who is it that you're wanting to do what to?
Like I just explained. You don't want the federal government, FBI, any entity coming. You know, you've got the FBI.
That?
You've got the FBI going to arrest.
So what can you do other than vote somebody else in to change the fucking corrupt people?
Well, that's what we did.
Okay, so what's your point? What are you going to reaffirm now? We already did it.
Okay,
we already turned the page.
Good God.
I don't
I'm
understand.
saying, this is what I'm saying. Those were the 26 executive orders. One of the executive orders was to reaffirm the free speech.
That's so vague. That's hard for me to even get behind. I don't even know what it means.
Like I said, it is just so he can say that the federal government is not going to impose any restrictions on any of these entities.
I think that went without saying. I think that already existed. And I think you just had corrupt people doing things they weren't supposed to or allowed to do.
Well, so
he reiterated. You need to indict them.
He reiterated.
You need to indict them.
Thank you very much. So
that'll reaffirm it.
You know, I'll go past this one. Ban DEI in federal agencies.
I think it's already done, isn't it? Didn't he already do that?
Good Lord, are you not listening to what I'm reading?
No, but I mean, it's come into effect, is what I'm asking.
I said, it's the first day he signed these orders.
I get it, I remember, I understand, but what my response is, my question is, just signing that order doesn't mean it happened the next day. Is that not already pretty much, other than Nike, pretty much?
But that's not part of the government.
No, but it's also part of the effects of that change.
Well,
the effects of our election change. It is
when Trump
and I think that affects Facebook. and not doing those things that the government. I mean, I think they realize now if our government tried to do that to them again down the road, they'd be like, fuck you, I have rights, I don't have to do that.
Well, it is funny. I listen to
already exist.
But I listen to, and here you come. You have to watch the ability of a private entity, i.e., Facebook or YouTube, to be able to have their own governing guidelines, but still, again, fall under free speech. So I listened to a show and a podcast for LEPD Firearms and Training Facility over in Columbus. And this last show that they had on WTVN, they said that the first, they started their show, and the first time they used the word gun, YouTube dropped them off. Said you can't use the word gun on YouTube.
Yeah, okay, well, they need to sue YouTube.
Well, but you can't.
You can.
No, because you are a private entity, and because of their cafe standards, they say these things can't be said. Now they're unfair. They're unfair because you've got people in there saying other vile things.
If you've seen the lawsuits that I've seen filed against people and entities that shouldn't have been filed, believe me, you can sue anybody.
Well, but
so you telling me that the reason that Facebook or YouTube, I'm sorry, the reason YouTube is allowed to get away with this is just money?
No, YouTube is allowed to get away with it is because they set those standards. However, those standards are fluctuated.
Those are regulatory things have nothing to do with law or constitution or amendments.
But do you know how much money Facebook and Instagram and YouTube all have?
No,
enough that if you are just a small entity, if you're Jack Moser Law, saying that I want to file a class action lawsuit because I've got
what the ACLU's for.
But what side do they lean to?
Okay, well.
So
they never used to.
I know it should be the most diverse, middle of the road group in existence.
So somebody needs to start a new ACLU that's in the middle.
But
start taking donations.
Build that. The thing that absolutely frustrates the piss out of me is the fact that the independents have more people in them than the left and the right.
You educated me on that. And if that's true, I think what's going to happen naturally in 2028 is I think that there will be a third party or a replacement party come out of the Democratic Party. I think the old Dems are going to stay Dems, and I think more than the majority of the Dems are going to go another route. And I think that at some point, one of the two, and it may just be the younger ones, but one of the two has to unhook the other, because they can't keep pulling against each other day in and day out. I mean, right now they're basically telling Schumer to hit the fucking bricks. We're done with you. Their own party.
Yeah, but
that's never happened ever.
But see, as we've discussed, the party is going more radical.
Yeah,
so AOC is going to be the middle of the road.
But it's not. It's not. You have to be clear in what you're saying. Okay? The Democrats in this country, my biological father was a union steelworker, an iron worker. Risked his life every day. Okay? He was an old traditional Democrat. He would fight you and spit in your mouth if you're talking about all this progressive shit to him. That is not his idea of being a Democrat. So I just don't think you can say that they're all just going to keep getting along. It's going.
Where did I say they're going to get along?
Well, you said it's just always been that way. They're going to stay that way. It's come to a point where The left,
Okay.
the Democratic Party in this hall, look him up. You need to educate yourself on this kid. Okay? I don't agree with much of what he says, but in fact, he was on the, Bill Maher show. And his line is that young Democrats need to focus on what they need to be focused on right now, and that's figuring out how to get laid and have fun. Okay, that's what he said on Bill Maher.
Oh my God.
Okay, and he's the co-chair for the Democratic Party, and Carville said, "I want him removed," and Hulk said, "Fuck off! You can't take me out."
Wow.
So,
the most important thing for a young person is to get laid and have fun.
Look it up. Look it up on Bill Maher. Okay, that's his position.
So
you aren't going to get Schumer, and you aren't going to get Pelosi. You're not going to get those old radical Democrats jumping on that boat, and they're not going back. AOC's not going back. She's not. So that progressive group is going to splinter from the old Democrats, and I think it's going to eat them up. I think it's going to eat them alive. And when that happens, I think that our country will be forced. I don't think we'll be left an option, but to create that. I don't want to sound silly like a third party can happen. It may end up still being two parties, but a third party is going to come out of the Democratic Party as we know it right now. And I think it's going to be either one of two things. Those independents are either going to go on their own and create a party and leave the progressives and the old school Democrats over here like this.
Well,
or that if what you're saying is right about the independents, is there was enough of them to go over into the progressive side, then it's going to be the progressives against Republicans. Right now, I think the Democrats, you know how we've watched, and it's been admirable and impressive to see over the years, despite the fact I think it's corrupt. If Pelosi said we're all voting this way, 100% of them we're voting that way. That's gone. That's over now. That's done.
Right.
It's completely a thing of the past now. So how to the Democrats, because that's how they held on. That was their strength and unity.
And see, okay, so in this conversation, the thing that I'm
And don't say you can't change. Democrats used to be the one for slaves.
right.
I mean, it can change.
For everything that has been negative to the United States of America, the Democrats have been in charge of. That's why I don't understand why they have the power over the people that they do. But so in surmising, so we can move on. I'm gonna. My feelings is that the Schumers and Pelosi's of the day, they are the ones that want power and control. That's the standard to which they did.
Apparently.
But when's the last time you charged it?
Don't know.
So, that's power. Now, if you look at the way you hear AOC and this guy saying, get laid, get happy, I think they're more about, we'll take control to keep you, dosed and happy. So dosed, in my opinion, is what is one of the strongest things that you see happening across the country now? Opening up legal drugs.
It's going back the other way now. But
I don't know. Legal.
Well,
there's in Trump,
even Oregon has backed out.
Well, Oregon was, hey, we'll give you the needle. Go ahead and you want to get the park's right there. Just go have a pretty day of it. Just enjoy. Shoot up right there.
Well, that failed.
Yeah, it did big time.
Okay.
Now, but still, what's the easiest way to control a population? Is
free things.
Free
things.
Free, and if they're numb,
I don't think
it's
the
so
numb
much
people are
easier.
voting.
No bullshit.
I don't believe so. Unless they don't
Vote
know
for
it.
Santa
Unless
Claus.
they don't know
Vote
it.
for Santa Claus. I'll give you anything you want, including free drugs.
Yeah, but actually,
So,
whether they actually ever show up to vote, I doubt. Unless somebody else is voting for them.
I've been a proponent of, and I wish we would, so we wouldn't have the issues that we do in voting with hanging chads and
It's getting better.
Blockchain.
It's getting better.
Blockchain, where you just vote on your phone. It's done once.
Yeah,
There's no cheating that can happen.
I'm not educated enough to agree with that, but it sounds good.
But then
Or somebody gets hold of your grandma's phone and just votes for it.
Well, that would be one vote, but I understand.
Right now, they go to nursing homes and fucking have these people sitting there sign around.
I know.
And then
Exactly.
they take and carry
So that person in the nursing home isn't going to have a smartphone and access to
But their kids will.
But they won't be able to vote for them.
Why not? On their phone? Can sign in for your mom? I'm not. Listen, let's just get back to the old days, showing up with an ID. Old people want to anyhow. There has to be some sacrifice made on your part.
I'm 100% with that.
I think it needs to be a national holiday.
I agree with that as well.
Nobody has to work that day at all.
I think that.
But you have to have an ID.
Yep.
You have to prove who you are.
Yep, 100%.
That solves all that.
I fully agree. Okay,
So to wrap it up, because we've got breaks to change.
Oh yes. Okay.
So
to wrap it up. He has been criticized. Trump.
Okay.
Demoralized. Crucified.
Not been demoralized. They've attempted to demoralize him. He is not
I understand. They're attempts.
No.
They're
Just
attempts.
like water off a seal's back.
Exactly. And I'm glad he seems to be much more determined this time.
No. Here's my perception of things. Not determined at all. He's having fun. Now, the attacks, the arrows, are almost like, come on, let's go. He's enjoying this.
Well,
He doesn't expect it to go without battles. He enjoys the battle. He's the Sunday football game. He looks forward to that competition every day of his life. What the other side doesn't realize is that they're trying to demoralize him, and they're just strengthening. They're just giving him more confidence. Because, I mean, when he was a contractor, I've been one. Not in New York City, okay, but I've been one. When you're a contractor in New York City, every day is a battle. Every day.
If you're not paying off something,
every day.
Yep.
Even your own people, let alone. I mean, he kind of got older, got out of that, got into the TV world. He's kind of missing all that little daily challenge. And what they don't know is all this is for him is he's in heaven. It's a daily. He gets to wake up in the morning to 10 battles today. He gets to play 10 Sunday football games a day now. So they aren't demoralizing him.
Well, they're trying, like you say.
They'll let them try, baby.
I know, but that's why you get the damn people on the square. Because they're listening to the crap.
But listen, you're looking at this wrong, and you and I have kind of separated a little bit in our earlier discussions to now. For me, I used to be frustrated with that. Okay, all I want to do now is go up and agitate. I mean I'm serious, because I think that in my opinion, not all of them, but a lot of those, that ignorance helps us. If you think they're influencing people, if you think there's somebody driving around the square reading those signs going, you know what, I think they're right. There's nobody changing their mind from those idiots on the square. There's nobody.
There's fence sitters, and if you go up and you start engaging them and they start talking about, this and do you want your Social Security taken away?
I don't know what you're talking about, which people are engaging those kinds of, because those people in the square won't even have that conversation. They won't have conversations. There's no dialogue out of those people. They won't.
They would talk till the cows come home.
No,
if you
they're
went up
going to scream and yell at you and tell you're an idiot and tell you you're fat.
if-
They're not going to have a conversation.
Listen,
They're not.
You and
I'll
I
prove you wrong. Next time they're there, you come get me. We'll go and we'll figure out how many of them. We'll take her with us. We'll find out how many of them will have a debate, or how many of them will start screaming and yelling and hitting me with their sign, calling me fat and an asshole and a racist. They aren't going to have a dialogue.
If we have time, I know they're going to be there this weekend.
Let's go.
Okay.
They will not have a dialogue with me. They won't.
but-
They'll get pissed off when I prove them wrong, or they'll get pissed off when I have a different opinion. And then it'll just get to be a personal attack.
Well, I understand, but
on me, and I'm a Trumpian, and I'm a this, and I'm a that. And
but
I'm the reason our whole country's wrong. And
let's not go in guns blazing as we're witnessing right now.
I just want to have a debate with these people, because
if
anybody could change anybody's minds, the facts are radically in my favor.
Well, I understand that.
So how are they going to have a debate? How are they going to have a conversation before they end up fucking pissed off and thrashing? Because that's all they got.
Right.
Pushing, shoving, elbowing, screaming, yelling, thrashing, throwing soup on shit. I mean, that's all they got.
Very true.
Do you listen to what's the guy's name that goes around to the colleges and lets people come out and just talk?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the reason. Just watch a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
It goes nowhere.
Oh, I
He
know.
wins every time.
I understand.
So the facts don't enable the other side to have a dialogue. So the only people you're going to get following that has ulterior motives. They're elitists that want their government monies not to change. Or, I'm not going to get down through the whole list, but they've got ulterior motives that are not supported by facts and or what's the best for our country. Because that's not what's best for the globe.
Well, yes, there's the global agenda as well.
Or their university. Or their, you know what I'm saying? They've all got their own unique niche agendas that they're in support of, which isn't really based on a whole lot of good common sense and supportive facts. So you can't have dialogues with these people. They can't talk to somebody long enough to persuade somebody.
I get you.
Oh, okay, so I don't see those things as bad. I see those things as them exposing themselves. I really do. Do it more.
But the biggest fear that I have is the sympathetic person that is right leaning because they have common sense, but they look at those people, doing the protest and they think, oh, I'm so sorry for them. I really
give them a handout.
The person that's sorry for them.
Yeah, give them a handout.
Well, that's not what they're wanting. That's not what they're wanting.
Well, what do they want?
They want Trump to take his hands off their Social Security and Medicare,
No. That he hasn't touched the Social Security.
I understand.
There's where the conversation ends. Okay, because it's never about what he's done. It's always about what he's going to do.
It's feeling.
He could do this, but what if he does that? But what if he does do this? But what if he could do that? This is just setting up for him to do that. It's all this emotional future. No, yeah, but it's all about what might happen. It's all about what could happen. And then but it hasn't.
Right.
Okay, so calm the fuck down. And then it goes, well, it's just how he is. He just goes about it the wrong way. He just doesn't do it the right way. He doesn't consider how it affects me. Yeah, we consider it. You're the minority. Shut the fuck up. Okay, you lost. You lost.
It's not so
more
much
people. It is that.
No,
more people voted against your position than voted for your position. Not only electorally, but popular vote as well.
But listen,
shut the fuck up.
Honestly, I think he is as much wanting to help that Donald Jay Trump is as much wanting to help that person on the square.
He wants to help everybody, dude.
As
I got news for you. Nobody believes him. He just wants the best for everybody. He just wants everybody to do better.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Look at his Middle East talk. That's all he wants is
but he's an
everybody
idiot.
over there to get along.
He's an idiot for doing it because they're bad people. They do bad things.
Are you a racist?
Why would you even talk to them? I'm not in agreement with that. I agree with what he's doing. Listen, not get off of religion, but kind of close this thing. Here's what I like. The old, the old comedian with the long hair, the 7 words.
Yes.
You'll think of
yeah,
it. You'll think of it. Let me tell you. I'm stealing this from him.
Mm-hmm.
Not funny at all. Just legitimately scary. Okay, and I'm not going to have these countries and religions right, but you Hindu and India, and you can be wherever you were born. That's your religion. Just wherever you ended up, just wherever you popped out of your mom's vagina, that's the God you get a support. That's the religion.
Okay.
Okay, so if you're born in an Arab country and you're born Muslim, that's the religion you believe in. And you believe in it 100%, just like Christians born in America believe in their religion. And it's so fractured that not even America can't even just claim one religion. It's the dozens. Okay? So not even in our country can we even agree. So our whole world is all based on this battle of all these religions that all are really, the only thing that really matters is where you're born.
Well, there's actually 3 books. Well, maybe 4. You've got the Torah for Jews, the Quran for Muslims.
Yeah, I don't want to get down this road, but go ahead.
And you've got the Bible, whether it's
one of them,
the King James or the Old Testament.
But here's the point. All I'm trying to make to you is, my wife and I watch a lot of these 90 Day Fiance things. It's multicultural. It's a lot of things where people from other countries are coming together with people in this country. And you get to kind of watch the progression of like a Muslim guy who's now come to America to be with this girl because his Peter decided that she was more important than his religion.
Yeah, but it'll all come back.
Let me finish, dude. Have you watched it?
No.
Okay, so you've got he made that's a big deal for a Muslim, buddy. He's abandoning his family. He's abandoning his religion. He's coming over here now. He's trying over here to hold fast and hold firm to his beliefs, and so she takes him to New Orleans, to Bourbon Street, and they go to different things there, and she takes him to Vegas. He's going to all these things, and he's talking. Oh, I'm so scared. I can't do this. I'm so ashamed. And then you watch him doing it. Okay, and then you see the change. It's the evolution of your brain having information that it never had before. Okay?
Right.
And where you're so tied down to a way of thought, a lot of times by a religion or a political party or whatever it is, as soon as you get the opportunity to actually learn more and realize that no, his religion is not the religion. It's not the only religion. It's the religion from where he was born. Now, they may think it's the only one, and they may think it's... But you can say that about Jews. You can say that about... They're fighting over lands. But it's just education. It's just people like you and I, and the purpose of this podcast, actually evolving and understanding. I think what I'm saying is I've kind of come around where it used to be our inclination, if it wasn't my team, all the other teams are evil.
Right.
Well, you said earlier, right? Okay. Right. I've come around to where I don't think that's not real. I mean, that's how we were raised. That's how we thought. That's kind of how the world's divided. And I think Trump has lived enough and been all over the world and lived a lot of different lives, kind of lives. I think he's realized that nobody's right and nobody's wrong. If that's your country, that's where you were born, that's the team you believe in, he doesn't need to go over there and criticize them for being stupid because they're not a Christian. Or whatever.
I understand.
Live your life, do whatever you want. Whoa, he's talking with murderers. He's talking with, but listen, you're going to change them. And if you want to change them, move there. And make a change there. Stop screaming and yelling over here that you're the only answer.
Just like our Constitution states, my rights stop where they interfere with your rights. And that's what needs to
no, because that doesn't happen globally.
I understand, but what he's trying to state is you do you, boo.
Yeah.
You do you, boo.
I'm not judging you. You don't judge me.
They're coming to get you.
Okay, well, they know where I was at.
I
So,
know.
I'm just saying, I never would have perceived that in a way I am now, younger. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't have been smart enough, experienced enough, whatever it is you want to say, to get it. And it's not, I know you're a good person, Rusty. I know that. So when you say things that are out of color, out of line with that don't reflect you being a good person, I think it's ignorance. I think it's a lack of experience. I think it's a rut. You're stuck in your ways. That's all you've known. That's all you've ever known. And a lot of the Democrats have been that way until November, to where they finally just had enough, to where maybe this way isn't the best, but I can't keep going down that road anymore. And then they start expanding their knowledge, and they start opening their eyes and being open, getting out of their echo chamber. You really need to stop listening to everything you listen to, because it is an echo chamber. And it's one of the things I've done, and it's not been pleasant at times. I'll be honest. I've tried to listen to stuff that I don't agree with, and it's hard. It makes me anxious, makes me angry, me pissed off. I'm like, these people are idiots. But you gotta.
I understand. You have to
try to relate. That's why I go up on the square. I mean, I'll end up getting hit with a sign or something. I won't be violent or aggressive in any way. Okay, I'm not going to be talked over.
Well.
Okay, but the point I'm trying to make is that you have to put yourself in those kind of situations in order to better understand. And I think that's what's happening to the Democratic Party right now. I think they've been forced into considering outside of the globe and outside of humanity and outside of all of those things. I think that the common sense play came into effect where all of a sudden, for those that never made sense to for 40 years of their life, 50 years of their life, all of a sudden now they starting to think, you know what, we got a lot of vets living on the streets that lost their legs for us or life for us. They're not living on the streets for the lost life, but a lot of Americans out there in need of a lot of things we're advocating for, and we're spending so much of our time advocating them for the world that maybe it's not an awful thing to not stop worrying about the world, but maybe pull back a little bit and try to focus a little more on us first, and then when we get a handle on our own first, then start worrying about the others. And I think that's slowly what's happening.
Well,
I think it's just like a tidal wave. It's just kind of just rising and coming in, and it's not converting people yet. Okay.
What you said tidal wave. You go back to the old saying, a high tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, well,
and that's all I think he's looking for is a high tide to lift all boats.
But they don't trust him because he's Trump. You see what I'm saying? But I think the more they open themselves up, the more I think people are starting to see that it's everything they say about him is not all true. And they're like, wait a minute, how is this bad? I would love to sit down on this podcast with any liberal, anybody, that we can have, and I'm not smart. I'm not going to sit with research. I'm just going to pull it off my brain. Have a discussion and a debate about why I should vote the way they think I should vote versus the way I believe I should vote. I'd love to have that conversation.
Well,
They won't have it.
let's see what
They
we can do.
won't. There's nobody out there that will. I'm just telling you. There's what's the guy's name that goes around the college campuses?
I know.
Where's the liberal guy?
Several.
Where's the liberal guy like that?
Well,
Where are they? Where are the ones going out?
They're
and
the ones with the megaphone. You know,
talking over everyone.
Chant.
Yeah,
chant.
yeah, or singing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the left's version of educating universities? Educating. Where are those people? He has to go to universities to go to the masses to find anybody dumb enough to come up and try to argue with him. Because they got nothing. That's why we'll never have that debate. They got nothing. I mean, I would love for somebody to convince me of anything politically that I believe that I'm wrong. Anything. Because to me, common sense is my basis. And again, you heard me earlier today, they didn't, but I've evolved on some of my perceptions of the globe.
Okay.
That I felt very differently about before. I'm a little more lenient, a little more flexible about it now. Because I get it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean I'm giving up my common sense. But I'd love to know what issue am I wrong on, and just explain to me why. Because if I'm wrong, I'd rather get myself corrected.
That would be a tough pill for you to swallow, but yeah, I understand.
No, I'm swallowing some now. I mean, I swallowed with you earlier. I mean, just being right all the time isn't the best thing. I mean, even if you think you are, you know what I mean? And it doesn't, I'll be honest with you, it's not hard for me to admit I'm wrong. I'm just not very good at it because it hadn't happened a lot, so I'm not very practiced at it. I got to get better at it, so I need to practice more. But that would come along with somebody trying to explain to me, you know, their argument.
I got you.
Why are you laughing?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Peace, everybody.
Okay.
What do you call it? What do you do now? Tell me again what they do.
Who, where, what?
Oh,
yes.
They comment.
Comment, subscribe, and share.
Share.
Gotta share.
I'm more interested in the comments. I'd love to have somebody come on. Love to see you. Love to have you. Let's go.
Right. And one last thing I'd like to say is a farewell to a dear friend, Dr. Lorelei Porter, passed this morning. We'll miss you dearly.
How old was she?
88.
Good run.
All right. Thank you now. Have a great one.